Boop. I think that's the right button. Oh, look. Ha-ha. It works. Look at that. The little chat box works. My goodness me. It's not pretty, but it's there. Is it working all over the place? I don't know. Yep. Right. Yoppen, hello. Shampoo, hello. Everyone, good evening. Wonder what he's going to paint. Shampoo, what? This. Maybe some Undead for the Northern Wind. There you go. You're on it. Totally on it. You are totally on it. There's two options actually of what we're going to paint tonight with spooky stuff. Because there's a lot to do. I have a lot to do at the moment. It's very, very busy. And where are we? I think you guessed right. You did. How do we sound tonight? Let's run different mics tonight. Oh, they look like levels look good. This is good. Now the question is, if somebody puts something, let's just test. Hang on. But hang on, does that work? It works. All of the chat's in one place, people. It's all in one place. Oh, it's a little bit delayed, but you know, we're kind of there. Chat window in the window. I know. You can't stay. Have fun. Have fun, Shampoo. Go drink beer and eat bacon. It's quite a revelation. When are you back? I have stuff for you sat here. You need to come and get it. Gonna get the train tomorrow to come home from holiday. Nice. I'll see you tomorrow evening to pick up your minis then, yeah? Ah, dear me. How are we all? Anyway, what's new with everybody? Obviously, the mighty Shampoo is on vacay. You know, will we notice a difference? That's the question. Probably not so much, but don't tell them I said that. Right, I gotta get painting handle. There we go. That's one of those. Oh my goodness. Prepping for IP here, so mostly big. Oh yeah, that's next week, isn't it? Or is it this week? It's the end of this week, isn't it? LARP, I think, Interplanetario. Magic. Less than 2 seconds. Nice. I just painted skeletons, working on the Forgotten Warriors now. Nice. Game's pretty fun. Some of the rules are wonky for us not coming from the skirmish game. Yeah, I can imagine. I can see that. It's funny because I think some of the rules are wonky coming from the skirmish game as well because they're not, you know, the same thing. Way more winters! My goodness, thank you, buddy. Hello. 9 months. My good God. I realised that we're getting close to like 40 or 50 streams that I've done, which is crazy. I only kind of sort of did this as a sort of a random thing. I was like, well, we're going to try it because, you know, all the cool kids are doing it, and clearly I am one. Yuppen, thank you. 3 months. Thank you, buddy. That's amazing. And you're quite right. Prime subs work on Twitch. So if you do have a Prime membership and you want to stick it to Bezos, then you can subscribe to me over there on Twitch on this link I'm just putting to YouTube now, and then that will get you, you know, all of it, which is quite magical. It will help me out, and it's nice, so I'd appreciate that. That's very, very cool. It's readable, isn't it? It's actually, I need to maybe put it on a transparent background, maybe, on the chat. What do we think? Is it nice? Is it good? Are we happy? What can I do with it? That's the thing. Background colour is 000. That looks okay. I think maybe if we made it a bit bigger, that would be good. Just a bit bigger. Is that good? I need to increase the font size. I need to tinker with this quite a lot. I don't know. I sort of strained a couple of brain cells making it work in the first place. But it works now, which is quite magical. But yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Isn't that nice? Just picked up my 2 boxes of Exodites, so I'm building Eldar. Nice. Eldar and Rhino. Yeah, I have to say, seeing that, it was like, oof. Exodites. Shouldn't be as excited by that as I actually am. So that is, if there was ever anything that would get me into 40k, it would be an Eldar. I've said this many times before. I'm going to say it again. Eldar, an Eldar Aspect Warrior army would do the thing. Hey, Blissful Badger, you're everywhere. I am surrounded. I am beset on all sides by badgers. And I couldn't be happier. So that's nice. But how is everyone's weeks going? What is new? Let me have a look at my... There's that, like, the notifications on YouTube have become so less useful over time. It's one of the, pardon the language, but the enshittification things that happens with social media, and it's just so annoying. I used to have, like, if people commented and things, and that's what you got notifications for, but now it's like, you got a like. Okay? I'm not being pig-headed, but I get a few of those, quite a few of those in a day. So, you know, I don't need it to go ping at me every time one of you marvellous mammals likes my stuff with your incredibly good taste. But here we are. So, yeah, I think tonight we're going to be working on spookies, and I haven't decided which one, because as is widely discussed now, we're going to be doing a Northern Wind run-through. That's the thing that's happening. I've got 3 buddies lined up to join me in the amazing adventure that is that. So I just want to get everything painted up nicely. I don't know how far I'm going to get with the painting up everything nicely idea, but hopefully very far. That would be cool. That's the kind of plan at the moment. But we shall see. We shall see how we get on. So I thought I'd paint some of these undead dudes tonight because they're relatively, I'm going to make a mess of it, but they are relatively straightforward and easy-ish to do. So I kind of want to get them hammered out because the core Northern Wind set comes with 15 miniatures, and if I can get all 15 done, then, you know, happy days. That's the kind of theory. That's the kind of thinking of what I'm doing tonight. Because we've got some stuff coming up around that. Because the other week we were working on himself. I still haven't finished him, but he was just a test, an Oni Marauder. He's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how he's shaping up. He's looking pretty good. I've got some notes for myself about how I want to improve it next time round. But I'm going to do my first ever proper, like, paint thing with his buddy. So we're actually going to do a step-by-step painting guide for this and put that out in the world as well. So that's coming up pretty soon, which is why I started work on him. But the first mission, the first chapter for Northern Wind involves a pair of those and your heroes. So Kaz, who I don't think is in yet, because I haven't been abused yet, but Kaz was kind of like, what's right, rewind. There was a whole voting thing on Discord this evening about what I should paint. And one of them was something heroic, and that would have been my hero that I'm going to run for the Northern Wind campaign. Which, for those who know Eldfall and know me, you'll not be surprised to hear it's the Soga dude. So I think I'm going to start. I am going to tinker around with these guys tonight. I think. What are we going to work on? I think I'm going to work on skellies. I think I'm going to work on the basic skellies to start off with because that seems sane. Seems like a good move. I haven't really sort of mapped out what colour schemes I'm going to do for them. So that's clearly going to go well when you're sort of figuring it out live on stream. What could possibly go wrong on that front? Right, hang on. If I do this, so if you've not seen them painted up before, they're supposed to, hang on a sec, look like, where is it? This one? This one? No, hang on, let's do this one. It's supposed to look like, when did that suddenly start being a thing? Oh, I got a mixer up. That's exciting. Let's put you in there. They're supposed to look like this. So this is how they're supposed to look like when they're done. Oh, no. Oh, that's... Oh, tinkering. Very pretty. But I kind of want to start with the basic skeletons with the shields there. Do those. Because I think they're going to be the easiest. So these two dudes here. And I mean, easiest with Eldfall is relative. Because these things are... I mean, they're unicorn miniatures, so they have all of the detail in the known universe on them. Because of course they do. Because Eldfall, clearly. So let's start with the other one. I've got a little bit of, I didn't do a very good job of cleaning his head up. I need to clean that up a little bit more. I'm going to start with this guy. The other option that I was going to do as well, because I said we'd either do Warcrow or Eldfall, and the other option was Titania herself. I was going to get some paint on a Kiplecht, because again, we're going to do a painty paint for this one as well, or how to paint this one. Now, guessing on how quickly it's going to be before I start sticking things about here on the script. This is just where I'm going to paint tonight. This is where I'm going to paint. That's it. If you're mean to me, that's where I'm going to paint. So be nice. You know who you are. Personal comments. Rude. Where are we? Boop. 4-hour miniature, really. You'll be fine. Thanks. Of course. Morning. Right, hang on, where are we? Veronin has whip 14 and I'm still dumbfounded. Yeah, of course he does. He's bright enough to keep a dog. So, of course he does. I can't believe you didn't. Fucking noobs. Unbelievable. Anywho, Mr. Van Diem. Read the... Never mind. Mr. Rogers. Hello. 3 hours sleep. Oh, luxury. Just luxury, that sounds like to me. Well, I hope you're doing well. I hope that's because you were having a incredibly wild night of absolute passion. I hope that's what was going on there. I don't need to know if it was, but I hope that's what it was. For your sake and your sanity. As much such as it is, JJ. 4-hour miniature. Yeah, it may be a 4-hour miniature to people that are good at painting, but contrary to popular belief, I don't class myself as that much of a good painter. I sort of swap enthusiasm for skill. It's a whole system. Sword's a bit wonky. I was thinking about sort of straightening out the sword on this guy because it's a little bit wonky, but then it kind of felt, I had like this moment of like, that's kind of old school, you know? I'll be fine. Of course I'll be fine. That goes without saying. Alright, that's better. That's better positioned anyway, I think. Need to work all this stuff out. Yes, read the profile. You're quite right. Also, not staying that long. Also, in camp, need sleep. No, there's the kids today. They've got no stamina. It's a real problem. Right, so what are we going to base this up on? Because I kind of, it's sort of like it's a very dirty, kind of browny yuck colour. Where do I want to go with that? How dirty do I want to go with it? Quite dirty, actually. Maybe, actually, what I should do is almost do a purpley black base for the fabric. Maybe that's probably the way to go. Let's start with that. So we're going to start this with the fabric. I'm going to start with my fabric and work my way out. That seems to make more sense. Maybe with a bit more black in that. Actually, stuff split horribly. I love, like, the scale 75, the result of it, like that really matte finish that it does is brilliant. Some of the miniatures, some of the paints just mix terribly. Is that, can you eat it? Right, you're also on lack of sleep. That explains why you've been a grumpy little munchkin on Discord, doesn't it, Manda? It does. It does. We noticed. We saw it. Was like, oof, oof. Somebody's not had their Weetabix today. Speaking of sleep, now that I have a sleep apnea mouth guard, I no longer feel like an undead 24/7. So improvements. Bravo. Speaking of which, Joppin, Mr. Van Diem has your miniatures. I meant to text you about it. He has your new toys that you won in the competition on the channel. So he's going to get those to you. So congratulations. Because otherwise it's going to be ages. So experiments are ongoing. You are one great experiment, JJ the Rock Rogers. Yes, yes you are. And don't we love you for it. Oh goodness me, excuse me. Is that, do I want to kind of go purple? It's difficult to say. I think we're going to start there. We're going to start by putting that in. And then we're just going to bring it up from there, I think. I think that's the direction of travel. Well, that's what we're starting with. That is what we're going to start with. Come on. Just put some purpley type shadows on it, and then it looks older and gruftier and all that kind of stuff. And we want some old grufty look to this. So I'm not going to use this brush. Use a scrappier one. Yes, Wild Knight of Power. You just are absolutely living You're absolutely living, Mr. Rogers, playing Power World to the wee small hours. This is why I can't hang out with you anymore, mate. You're just too much of a badass. I just get intimidated. So, you were informed. Ah, yeah, got to paint when it's fun. He knows we need a game. Yes, indeed. There's so much going on. This is quite exciting. Do we think we need does the chat need to be bigger font? Do you think, guys, or does that work? The main one on screen, the combined one. Feedback appreciated. Sorry, rewind. Constructive, useful feedback appreciated. It doesn't involve abusing me. I have a sleep study in a month's time. 3 years waiting list, but I got checked in the UK and I was okay. Yeah. Sleep's a weird thing, isn't it? You'd think we'd be quite good at it. It's just basically going unconscious for a period of time and waking up again. But it turns out bodies can be absolutely rubbish at it, and you wouldn't think it, because it shouldn't be that hard. But here we are. We are genuinely badly designed. If you believe in such things. Oh, hang on. I'm like, oh, it's a bit dark in here. Why is it so dark? Let's do that. Let's give it a bit more light, shall we? And indeed, chow, as requested by Mr. Rogers the other day. I can pachow. I think I'm old enough now that I can pachow. I wouldn't have pachowed previously, but I think I've sort of reached that level of aged seniority that it's an achievable thing for me. Painting, yes. Gaming, at my last game in 3 weeks. Yeah, well, I know, but you've got another one coming up, I'm sure. You'll leave tack at home. Yes, you will, young man. Still suck at Apex, though. 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. Yoppen, you do not appreciate how different. There's many shocks to the system when I moved to the Netherlands, and one of those was waiting times that are kind of like measured in days. Or kind of instant. It's a very different experience here, and it's very odd being treated like an adult on a very regular basis. I had a situation where I couldn't get to see my doctor the other day. I needed some medication, and so we ended up having a very sensible chat where they were like, yeah, you do. We'll get that sorted for you. It will be at your pharmacy in 10 minutes. Oh, okay. That's right. Good. Yep, sure. In the UK, I would have not been able to do that. I don't know. You have to cover in serious. Well, I can't see you for 6 weeks and I'm ill now. No, it's not our problem. That's being serviced, not a service. So, anywho, it's very different elsewhere, Yopham. I should paint. But which project? You should paint Dropfleet. The chat on screen looks fine. Good to hear, Amanda. See, now you can stop hassling me, harassing me for it, so... Ireland is kind of bad. I think everywhere associated in any way, shape or form with the United Kingdom in the recent years is quite terrible for most things related to that. Anyone that disagrees is quite welcome to, but you can fight me. It's a sad, sad state of affairs, and I think Ireland got its bad habits off of England. By sort of association, being next door, it sort of rubs off on you. I need like a, there we go, that's what I need. I need like a little bit of an ivory colour to finish this off. We're going to try this. So I've got 2 bottles of ivory, and I've got one bottle that is absolutely perfect and works brilliantly every time, and another one that's absolute hot trash and just dumps its medium onto the palette every time until you give it a gauge shake, and then it's fine, it behaves itself, and then you forget about it, and you forget which one's which. Got to go. Consider yourself challenged to a game of good old Winfinity. Yah. That's nice. Hydra, was that Byzantine penicillin G for the rod? No, you're the only one that has that. But thanks. You must know that was antibiotics, because going swimming in a public swimming pool when your eyes are challenging can result in you getting an eye infection, which is just worse than it sounds, actually. It's actually worse than it sounds. But thankfully easily fixed, because we've been through it a few times now. But yeah, it's just nice being in the situation, as I say, where you can talk to the doctor and say, look, I need this, and they go, do you? And you go, yes, here's why. And they go, fair enough, your choice, seems reasonable. I mean, I think if I sort of said, I need X grams of methamphetamine, they might be a little bit hesitant. But I think if it's something sensible and you've got the sort of argument to back it up, they're fine with it. So, yes. That was a bit close to the chat there, wasn't it? I feel like the camera needs to come this way a little bit. Hang on, let's upset it immensely. I'll bring it this way. I've come up with a great system as well. I've put the box of power, i.e. the one with all the paints in it, on my camera stand so that it holds it in place, which is just, I'm just a genius. Don't actively track, stop it. I need to go that way a little bit more. There, that seems better. That's better, isn't it? That's just a bit more stretch. It's always the professional on this channel. I mean, someone is, I'm not, but someone is clearly always the professional on the channel. I've lost what I was saying. But yeah, I think I'm going to do these quite quick and dirty. I want them to look a bit scrappy and a bit like skeletons living in the middle of a, you know? They don't need to be perfect because that sort of doesn't work for what they are. We also got rid of the railways because roads, and now they've been replaced in 50 years later. Yeah, that's the reason. Are you enjoying Eldfall Chronicles? I'm doing the Dungeon Crawler and having fun learning it. I am a massive fan of Eldfall Chronicles. If you want an example of how much of a fan I am of Eldfall Chronicles, I'm a guild master, so I'm one of the demo team. I have worked with Free Company. In fact, if you like Northern Wind, then Apocrypha, which is the follow-up kind of thing, the next Dungeon Crawler, is going to be on crowdfunding later on this year. And if you look at the announcement trailer, it's got me on it because I narrated it. I did the video to narrate all of that stuff. So I am, yes, a slight fan of Eldfall Chronicles because he's nice. Oculus Syphilis, yes, it does indeed. I would not recommend. Like maybe 1.5 out of 10. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just not. It's not nice. It's not a great experience. Whoever came up with that, clearly not an eye fan. But yes, yeah, no, they're good, mate. It's all sorted. It's fine. Hey, Darina, good to see you. Good old GW, creating kits where you have to glue on the middle claw and the thumb to the hand of the dinosaur. That sounds like Malifaux levels of dickery, pardon the language. But that complete, like, yeah, you thought that was hard? Try this. Oh, God. Thank you for the skeletons, Mel. That is simply glorious. My sword is bent and it's supposed to be. I was going to straighten it when I was putting it together, but then I kind of liked the fact that it looked like it was bent and it's on a skeleton, so it's not supposed to be all perfect. So I was like, yeah, I'm keeping that. That feels narratively fine. And also knowing how squishy these guys are. It worked for me. I liked it. I liked the narrative feel to that. I'm going to do this. The bone, we kind of want to go for a grey. There's grey. No. Do we have pure bleached bone? Really bleached on it? Because these are quite bleached and grey as it is at the moment, aren't they? They're quite. I don't know how well. Where's my zoom gone? That's completely off. Go there. Thank you. See, it's very grey at the moment. I need to make that more bone coloured, don't I? I don't know how bone coloured I want to go with it. It's a challenge. It is a challenge. That life's tough. Where are we? There we go. Poke, oh, you're on there too. My God. JJ, you're everywhere. I'm invaded by Irishmen. I'm beset on all sides. Getting that old school stop motion skeleton vibe. Exactly. I love it. It very much is. And I love them for it. I think it's brilliant that it looks that kind of Jason the Argonauts type feel. It's brilliant. It's clearly what's inspired it. So, you know. Jan Lo's beard. Yes, indeed. Jan Lo's beard was, yes, a whole load of yes. Nothing polite. Yeah, and that's kind of brown. We want this kind of a dirty brown. Dirty brown. What's that? I wonder if that would work actually. For the metal, I've kind of got this grey brown. I've not seen this in a while, and I'm using it very sparingly because I use it a lot in bolt action. But like this track primer as like a dirty brown is brilliant. It's a really, really brilliant dirty brown. Quite dark, but I don't have much of it. So, you know, it's like, do you want to spam it over everything? Yes, I do. Used to love that film and the terrible plasticine mine is shot. Yeah, but it's just genius. It was. Use Brett. Rogers, don't make me kick you out. I know you're not a lot asleep, but I will. I'll absolutely tuff you to the curb. Like the dog you are. I mean that in a loving way. I've known him a very long time, in case anyone thinks I'm being mean to a complete random. I'm not. I'm being very mean to a good friend, which is totally different and ultimately acceptable. Excuse me. But yes, who else is hobbying tonight? Who else is getting their painty paint on? Because I hope some of you are. I hate to be the only one that's doing the painty paint on a Monday night. Makes it more bearable, I think. If you've survived that first 24 hours of the week. And for some of us, parents out there, you're in the back end of the summer holes now. It's now about survival. It's digging in. It's finding that ultimate depth. Although, to be fair, I was excited like a 5-year-old myself today because my eclipse glasses came in ready to watch the 90% eclipse that we're going to get on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, I think. Which is kind of funky because I'm going to watch the eclipse and I'm going to go out and watch Odyssey. So it's going to be a good day. Because even if I don't like Odyssey, which I'm going to, by the way, I'm going to like it. But even if I don't, it's still pretty epic. Like watching a big spectacular movie in IMAX. It's got to be done. In my humble opinion. Sheltaro Cruiser builds being painted. Bravo! And Pansy, hey Hydra, just wanted to say thank you for the tournament PDF you sent me. It definitely helped getting our tournament going this month on the 22nd in Orange County, California. Outstanding. You are most welcome. How many have you got coming? What's your first rollout going to be like, buddy? I hope exactly what you were after. Because that's how it should be. Let's get this down and make this rusty. Not tonight though, because I've actually got some rust paint coming on the way. So I've got a lot of rusty stuff to paint soon. For some reason, coming up, who knows why, very strange. Citrine, Emerald, Jet, Obsidian, nice. 26, damn Andy Pansy, outstanding. For a first gig, 26 is awesome, bud. That is really good work, bravo. You have to be happy with that. I've always got lightheaded, so stopped. Best. If you get lightheaded, always stop. It's never a good sign. Well, I guess it depends what you're doing. Anyway, I'm not getting involved in that. But I think that's a good kind of base for that rusty kind of... I want to take this... It's going to be a rusty, coppery, bronzy kind of colour. So I think that kind of works. Had to cap it at 26. We only had 13 tables. Yeah, what a problem to have, dude. What a problem to have. That's the way to start out. That is making a statement. We're here, we're doing tournaments, and they're freaking awesome. Do come play. Nicely done. Very nicely done. You happy with it? Excited? Hyped? I'm expecting pictures on Discord as well. Because the world needs to see your work and celebrate it with you. Plus, then we can pick apart your tables, because standard. All super stoked. I'll keep you posted on how it goes. Please do. It is always interesting seeing the way that different communities do the tables, though. It's like, you'll find that people are like, no, I'd never do it that way, that's terrible. And you're like, noob. That could just be me, though. Try for a satellite next year. Good job. I'm waiting to hear, well, we've applied for our satellite this year. So we have that sorted, which reminds me I need to let everybody know the dates. Start to let some people know, but I think a lot of people that came last time want to come this time, so we shall let them come party. Come party in the Netherlands, because that's nice. I'll absolutely send pictures and give a better report. I'm looking forward to it, dude. Shoot some video. Tell the world what you do. Celebrate. I did all of that for my one, and then just did not get around to posting out into the world, which sucked. I need to do that. It was just all a bit of a blur around that time. There was a bit too much going on. My poor little head. So I've got some very funny video somewhere, which is no longer relevant, but I'm still happy I've got it. Of the time and the people. It was a really great experience, though. Highly recommend it. These miniatures are too detailed sometimes. Sometimes you just look at them and you're like, I'm not up to this. This stuff is better than I am. Damn it. But that's part of the fun, isn't it? I like to be challenged. I have to say. I do have to say. I feel like I should put ads on the bottom of my stream now, because we're getting all professional and stuff. Hydra's Universal Cure-All Tonic. Cure what ails you with Hydra. I know it sounds like some type of washing powder more than... You know what I mean? I think it would just be cool. It's on the bottom of the screen. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up. I put in a really interesting article for somebody the other day. We're waiting to see whether that gets picked up. So that might be more of me around in the world, if you can bear more me. I can't. I'm stuck with me 24/7, honestly. I'm quite bored. Send help. But, yeah. Article for a company that hopefully everyone will like. They won't. I'll get rubbish for it. I look forward to it. Bring it on, trolls. But yeah, it looks very much like we're going to get this Northern Wind playthrough running now. So I just got to get everything painted up and ready for that, which is kind of one of the big pushes for the channel for the next period of time. Along with that, and Drop Zone, Drop Fleet, and I've got some good stuff coming up for Bolt Action. Some very good stuff coming up for Eldfall. We're going to finish the big four in the coming period of time. I'll talk about too much about specifically when, but if you know, or if you are a fan, then you'll have seen that the first teasers for the new Sand Kingdoms reinforcements have started to drop, and they look so cool. Cooking a turkey leg and Bubbles is like, give me, yeah, which seems reasonable. In gear. Good evening. Hello. How are you, buddy? Are you well? You having a good week? What's new with you? Don't want to tidy this up too much. And I'm supposed to make the eyes like a really strong green. But part of me wants to just leave them hollow pits of despair, you know? Like, just, but then they're also, but they're supposed to be kind of resurrected through magic in the Eldfall universe. So I get why they're supposed to be all glowy, because like magic and stuff, but part of me just kind of wants to leave them soulless pits into oblivion, basically, which I don't know, we'll have a think about that. See what works. And who's ready for the eclipse? Who's in Europe, obviously. If you're in the US, not so much, because I don't think you guys get it this time. got a 90% eclipse happening around here on Wednesday. Damn it, Wednesday. How's that look? Stop actively tracking. Thank you. I think it looks alright. For a quick, I'm trying to be quick and dirty with this, but it's kind of working. It's definitely kind of working. I wonder if I've still got. At one point I had in here. I'm in the. You'll be glad to all hear. I'm in the paint box. I do have some here. Are you all ready for heart attack? Because here we have a GW product on the channel. Dun dun dun. Anything but GW. But it's Citadel, so that's fine. Hi everybody, what are you painting tonight and why isn't it? Stop it! Getting bullied by my own, honestly. Honestly. I am painting Eldfall Northern Wind tonight, actually. That's what we're painting tonight. We are painting one of the fallen heroes for that. So this is somebody that will appear in, so we're going to do, if you've not seen Northern Wind, it's a dungeon crawler board game basically, tied into the Eldfall universe, and it's like, yeah, it's a really cool dungeon crawler. And me and 3 friends are going to, the plan is that we're going to live stream it on Twitch and YouTube twice a month, basically. That's it, that's the tweet. So I'm getting the stuff painted up so that it looks pretty on screen when we're doing the run through. So that's what we're working on tonight. That is what we're working on. And why is it not Infinity? Because I'm having a bit of a break from Infinity. I'm doing some other stuff. I'm clearing the palette. I find after a while, if I've been painting a lot of one particular system, that I get a bit done with it. The aesthetic, especially with something like Infinity, because it's a very clear aesthetic and it's got a very clear way of painting and all that kind of stuff. And I have a very clear way of painting it as well. So I find that it gets a bit sort of, I'm in a bit of a rut with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this here and this here and this. And it's nice to step away and do a different system for a while. And at the moment, there's lots of really cool systems dropping that I'm kind of getting stuck into, from your drop fleets to your drop zones. And they're quite quick and dirty painting, to be honest with you. They're not, I'm spending too much time on fleet, but on zone, it's going to be relatively quick and straightforward to do. So it's a nice palette cleanser when you have a system that demands and lends itself so heavily with Infinity to really intricate painting styles. And I find, after all these years of painting it, that I can't do quick and dirty paint schemes. It just doesn't, it upsets my chi completely if I do that with Infin. So I just don't. I'm always straight in with your non-metallic materials and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of concentration, a lot of focus, quite a lot of skill that has to go into it, which, I ain't got that much kicking around, so I've got to be careful with that. I don't blow too much of my skill on one particular miniature. But it's nice to do a different system where I don't have that mental expectation, that baggage that goes with, for me, Infinity. So yeah, I'm enjoying the break. I'm enjoying the variety. And when I'm ready, and it will happen again, because I have my shock army to finish off, which is, that doesn't help because that army I want to make absolutely perfect on all fronts, which, yeah, talk about perfectionism. And then I have Project Archangel, which I'm going to start, and we're going to document that, but that's not going to be it's not going to be as detailed and heavy duty as the shock army. Yeah, so and my Shinden needs finishing and blah 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 blah. So I've got lots to do for Infinity. I'm just not feeling it at the moment, and it's one of those things. I do feel the pressure to do stuff with Infinity. So like I planned this week's videos, and I sort of stepped back and looked at the list, and there wasn't anything for Corvus Belli on there at all. And I was like, well, that's not going to fly. I've got to go back in and I've got to put stuff in there. So there's going to be some Corvus Belli stuff in there. But given the opportunity this week, there wouldn't, because there's not things that specifically are inspiring me to talk about them. But I know that there are things people want me to talk about. So yeah, there is that pressure to do. How do you feel it? I think he's looking all right. How do you think? How do you think he's looking? The last time the US had an eclipse, Trump looked at it with, yeah, I remember. It's Warhammer paint now, no longer Citadel. Is it? I beg to differ, because that's got Citadel written on it. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the Citadel paint, which shows how old it is. Sorry, I'm late. Stupid thing called work. Disappointing. Have you ever tried this 40-year-old system for a pallet? No, stop it. Prometheus, just behave. I am not getting stuck into Battletech. It doesn't matter how hard you try. Works wonders for me. I'm sure it does. Sounds like great fun, the dungeon crawler. And 4 friends, lucky you. I know, I have 4 friends. Well, you know, 3. Because I'm one of the people that's going to be playing, so I only needed 3. But yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to doing it, actually. It should be... it's going to be something a little bit different. Technically, it's a bit more of a challenge than anything I've done before. Because obviously there's this. But like... there was a whole load of technical things I needed that I wasn't ready, that I don't have sort of in place. So the reason that I was asking about the volume on this is I've picked up some more radio mics. So we're on a different set of radio mics tonight. Because now I've got 4, so each player can have a radio mic, so you're going to have that sounding beautiful. I've picked up a Stream Deck, because then I can use that to control what you guys are seeing with the click of a button. And all this kind of thing. There's, excuse me, there's so many things that go into doing that kind of a live stream with Northern Wind, that even doing this, you know, isn't a concern. So technically it's a big challenge, and you know, the next step is to pick up some LED softbox lights, because I've got some other softboxes, but they're not quite as good, and they generate a lot of heat, which will not be nice on a live stream lasting 2 hours. So I'm going to get some nice LED softboxes, so it looks pretty and it's all well lit. Yeah, there's a lot of things. Where are we? I know, it's such a failure. Well, I wouldn't get that far. Okay, I would. You're quite right. You are an absolute failure, and we're just disappointed across the board generally. Meanwhile, played my first few months at XCOM with buddies. So stupid and fun. I died every mission. Dice with numbers ain't me. Guess I love you. With 1 paragraph, you can entertain me like no one else. Well, I'm glad you're having fun with it. You know, it may purely be nostalgia bait and just, you know, aiming to pull you in through your childhood and get to your wallet using it. But, you know, as long as you're happy, man, that's the important thing, right? I'm glad it's cool. Just passing by. Hello. Thank you, Nico. Appreciate it. I was working tonight. I disagree. My joy for Hydra. He is British. Suffering is joy for him. Videos of infinity, all the videos. Behave. Behave. I have an I made some Warcrow miniatures today. That I then subsequently all put away. But I made a whole bunch of them, and they were all Seocast, and it was really interesting. It was really, really interesting. I've got a game of Warcrow coming up this week. Because it needs to happen. I need to get some more Warcrow hours in. And a friend of mine wanted us to play it, so we're going to. And so I needed to sort of plug some gaps in my list with some stuff that had come out that I hadn't yet picked up. So I dove on it, and I got 4 boxes. Hang on. 3 boxes. And it was 100% Seocast, and the sadness in the room was just, it's like, oh no, do I have to? Do I really have to? Metal parts on these skeletons were super fun to paint. Looking forward to seeing what you do with them. Oh, no pressure then. Well, I want to keep it quick. I want it to look good on screen, but I don't want to spend like 6 months painting these guys up, because I've got a lot to do. And I kind of... One thing I learned really early with doing this kind of thing is if you wait until you're ready, you never do the thing. It just doesn't happen. Because if you kind of sit there and you're like, right, because like I've just sorted out the chat on my window, which is great, but that was one of the things that I wanted from the get-go before when I started streaming. Now I've done 39, it's 39, isn't it? Yes, 39 streams. This was my 39th stream. So if I had if I'd have waited till I'd got that sorted, potentially this would have been my first stream. And there's a whole load of human beings out there that I've met through this who I wouldn't have met because I was waiting for perfection. So I kind of learned that you sort of doing is better than thinking about doing and planning to do. And so I kind of want to get these done to a good tabletop standard. They have to look good on the table. You know, I've got some plans of how I want to do like various graphical elements during the live stream. So when you see these for the first time, for example, the hope is that I'll be able to push a button on my stream deck and cut away to a little video that will introduce you to what these are, what they look like, and all that kind of stuff. So these will just be on a little turntable and they'll go round and round and round and round and round. You go, ooh, look at that. So I want them to look a sort of reasonable tabletop standard, but I don't want to spend 6 weeks on them because I've got, you know, that stops it coming out, that stops the live stream happening, and it takes momentum away, and there's things that I want to spend long term on, but these aren't them. So we shall see what happens. Although having said that, I'm spending quite a long time on the Marauders because I love them. I love the Oni. They only are just delightful miniatures. They look cool, and yeah, they're just badass. So, but I've hit these with the Zenithal highlight already, so I'm kind of 90% of the way there with what I want to do with these. Just got a couple of bits to sort of finish up and tidy up now that I'm getting my scheme sorted. I think this is working okay though. I think this is going to look good. I think on the tabletop this is going to look solid, and I think that's important. I want my fellow players to be immersed in the experience, but not waiting until 2029 to do so, you know? If that makes sense. It's one reason I'm not going all out with my DFC fleets. I want them to look good, but I also have 6 to do. Exactly, that's the thing. Also, question, after Gen Con, lots of positive talk about Hexadome Legends. I know many who picked it up. Do you have thoughts? I have precisely zero interest in Aristair or its progeny. I owned it the first time out. I owned the original Aristair. I nearly got the original release metal, but then thought, nah, I don't want to spend that money. I'm gonna, you know, I'll try it out first. And I tried it out, and I was like, it's alright, it's fine, but it didn't really inspire me. I never found myself in a situation where I was like, you know what I want to do tonight? Play some Aristair. It was fine, and I have nothing against it. It's just not for me. So obviously, as part of what's called the Nest, which is the Corvus Belli sort of creator group, they were pushing this some time back, and I was just like, nope, not interested. Just instantly, I'm not going to waste their money having them send it to me for me to go, And I've heard good things, and I'm sure it will be a great game. It's a, you know, it's a cool system, and if you're into that kind of thing, perfect. But it's like there've been points where I've had stuff sent to me by companies that I've not been into, and I felt that level of obligation to do a review. One of them exists still on the channel, and when I look at it, I have looked at it to remind myself why I actively stop people sending me stuff that I don't love. I had to do it actually with Warlord because they were sending me stuff for Conflict 47, which is a cool system, but I do not and will not be playing. So there was no value in them sending it to me, so they were wasting their marketing budget on somebody who was not going to feature their product in any way, shape or form. But I do have a video for a product on my channel, which I don't dislike, but I'm never going to like that particular thing I was never going to use. So yeah, that was an integrity reminding moment, you know, where you kind of go, actually, only take on what you love. So Aristea was kind of a, that's cool, no thanks, I'll pass, but cheers. So yeah. Hydra, are you going to the Planetario, and what kind of coverage can we expect? No, I'm not. I was going to, but I've actually really kind of fallen out of love with competitive play at the moment. I'm not enjoying it. I'm happy to TO, I'm happy to run events, but I'm not interested in actually taking part. It's just not where my hobby is at the moment. I'm happier demoing to newbies than I am playing competitively. So I'm hoping to, like, there'll be the big announcement there, which we now know is not going to be US Ariadne. So that's going to be all centered around the book. So I'm going to talk about that as information like that comes through. But no, I'm not going to be doing any big coverage from that. The first big bit of sort of outdoor roving reporter with Hydra that you're going to get is going to be at Spiel this year. I'm going to Essen, and I'll be spending the day wandering around there, and I'm going to be going talking to a few companies already. I know there's somebody that I wanted to talk to who isn't going to be there. That was disappointing, but I'm going to sort of shoot lots of video and some interviews. I'm hoping I can sort out with some friends, and like, yeah, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of videos and such from yours truly from there. So look forward to that later on this year. But no, not the Interplanetary. Like I said, I actually had a ticket booked and all the rest of it, but it just, yeah. I was going for the sake of it rather than because I wanted to. Gonna head off and crash into bed. Have a nice stream. Thank you very much. Take care. And you take care, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you on Discord tomorrow, knowing you. Honestly, can't keep you quiet. I hope you're doing okay anyway. But no, there's a group of locals that are going, which is cool. But yeah, just your hobby should be about what you love. And much as this is work, because a percentage of my mortgage is paid by the Dice Gods, that felt like a lot of money to spend on something that I was purely doing to shoot little bits of video, you know? Excuse me, it just did not seem sensible. So, yeah. Hey, buddy. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Spiel, can I provide you with a small shopping list? Really? What? Yes, you can. Because it's you, yes, you can. Absolutely. I'm stuck at. Oh my goodness! I didn't update the thing. Oh no, it is updated. I just didn't see it. That's terrible. Sorry, Twitch. I need to get better at reading my own thing. Stuck at work with a big old 120mm model that's handed down to me that needs some serious stripping before repainting it. Nice. Which one, Mal? So when I'm flying, nothing sinister ever happened in a flight during the eclipse. No. OG metals, yeah, they are super rare. I know, yeah, I've been seeing that you've been doing things with Aristea a lot. Thank you for the 450. A badge of honour, a mark of shame, bit of both. That's why I'm doing the Pulpy Ninja Warrior, just fun. Meet people, play demos, factory, yeah, going to the factory, that's the problem. I literally have, so in the other room, I've talked about Project Archangel a couple of times, and Project Archangel is currently pretty much every miniature for one specific faction. It is every miniature for that. And so far, none of the miniatures are built. They are all just sat there, waiting to be put together. Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing that we're doing. So, it's a Vulcan Colossal Warjack. Oh, that's awesome. What locals of yours are coming? I can pass them a silly little thing I'm making to give out, to pass to you. Okay, that would be cool. Yeah, get me on Discord. I will, yes, there will be people. Appreciate all that you just said. Being that competitive Infinity is not on your radar right now. How do you feel about the upcoming campaign book? Very much so. That sounds cool. Due to the return of narrative to Infinity, we haven't seen that since Third Offensive really, and I'm looking forward to it. It's always been a really interesting but underserved side of Infinity, so I'm looking forward to that actually being more of a thing, and having proper rules structured around it again. That'll be really good to have, basically. So I look forward to that appearing, basically. We shall see. Maybe you can deputise someone for some interplanetary cover. Yeah, maybe. I mean, there'll be stuff all around the internet, and they'll broadcast the things and stuff. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's a whole conversation at the moment around that stuff. Anyway, I tricked like a vet into playing a tournament after years. The next week he posted the 40 mostly metal miniatures he glued in one sitting. I trust you do the same once the moment is right. Dude, I have like majorly, the Project Archangel is a new army for me, and the build that I'm going for it is incredibly competitive. Let's put it that way. One of the lists that the miniatures that I have bought is based around, like, has 3 disco ballers in it, and it's blind filth, and I love it. So I'm live. Everything is good. Painting some Meltwater. Yes, I am painting some Meltwater. I'm painting some Meltwater ahead of us doing the live stream, dude. So I'm getting some paint on the miniatures that we're going to use for that, my friend. Because Phoenix is going to be one of the players with me when we do this. So yeah, buddy, just making sure our stuff looks pretty, basically, and is suitable standard, because your miniatures are gorgeous. I don't know if you've painted your hero yet, but I kind of want them to look. I want everything to look nice. So just getting that done, basically, dude. That is the plan. And how am I doing? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hey, Nuclear Kid. Evening. I hope you're having a lovely day. Yes, I am indeed. Yeah, little nerdling. How are you? How's the writing going, my friend? Any exciting projects on at the moment? Hey, Gene Dean. All the legends are in. Good to see you, buddy. How have you been, Gene? Life well? Life good? My goodness. You'll start soon on your hero. Glad to hear it. Awesome. Glad at least one thing for Infinity has you interested. I think you'd enjoy Tools of Juicy whenever you get around to Legion, if eventually in a future far, far away. No, so Kaz, the state of play is, as you know, we have the stuff going on with Drop Fleet. I need to finish that off. I need to finish stuff for Eldfall as well, because when I clear the decks for Legion, I kind of want to make sure that I have the space to give it the love that it deserves. But the other day, I nearly ordered €300 worth of Legion the other day. Then had a chat with myself about the fact the other stuff is still in the other room unpainted. Like, oh yeah, I should get that done first. Or unbuilt, sorry, I say unpainted. I mean unbuilt. I have not started it. I've opened it and gone, and then gone, you have to be a grown-up and not play with it yet. But I want to. So, and also I was talking to some friends about it the other day, and there's kind of another 3 players that I didn't know about locally that play Legion already. So there is going to be some serious Legion coming this way. I'm looking forward to getting it back on deck because it's such a good system, and I love the universe so much. Like my memories of childhood. I'm old as socks. Anyway, I'm very old, and in the UK, between Christmas and New Year, there would always be a Star Wars movie. Normally on Boxing Day, so the 26th, or Christmas Day. That to me was what Christmas was waiting for that Star Wars movie. And like my dad had had the soundtrack on vinyl from 1977, the original release, original pressing, and all that kind of stuff. And I used to play with the Kenner models and all that kind of stuff. So Star Wars is just my childhood. It is just that, you know. And the other day when we were talking about tapping into people's kind of memories and stuff, and I was saying how, is it a good thing? That is that for me, very much so. Legion is very much tapping into my childhood and bringing that back up, and I really love it. So the nostalgia side of things. So yeah, it's definitely coming, and I want to put some real love into it. It's funny. One of my largest videos on the channel remains a review of a Legion box that I did. It still gets more views now, which is slightly worrying. But anyway, so yeah, there's definitely some Legion coming your way, and I can't wait for it to happen. But there's a very complex web of stuff I have to get done first. As that comes together, Legion will come to the top, and it will get the love that I cannot wait to give it. I hope that answers the question in full. Dear Lord. But yeah, no, there is still some stuff that fires my blood about Infinity. Don't worry about that. There is still love for the big game. Very much so. But I find that sometimes it can, especially when you're in a community and you have been for some time, it can get to the point where you're like, I just need to, just for 5 minutes, I'm just going to step back for a minute, guys, and just give this a little bit of oxygen. Let myself breathe a moment. And that's kind of where I am with it, I think. Need a bit of a break. But I still have views, and I'm still running events and all that kind of stuff, so it's not me moving away from the system by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, it was nice to see Spec Ops. Like I said on the video that I did about Gen Con, I think the stuff related to Spec Ops is interesting, very much so. I worry about the price of the Spec Ops boxes. It just doesn't feel like Corvus Belli can put out a box that isn't €50 at the moment. It has to be kind of like a big, you know, not a quick dive in. It has to be a chunkier cash, and that's just a little bit. Yeah, I could do with some single blisters being the big release, but I understand why not. They have profit to make, and you know, I get it, but it's a bit irksome. But I'm very much looking forward to Spec Ops, and if they've tidied up the rules, because you know, the I don't know if you know the original Spec Ops rules, but they were not the simplest to use, especially the first time out if you were a newbie, and how they sort of slotted together, and they've not really functioned properly since probably N2, and that's not great. And yeah, it'll be good that they're coming back and they're simplifying, but we shall see about those prices and how they work. We shall see, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Back to work, so I guess. Okay, well, that's disappointing. You're going to start on Hero. You should start on Hero. The writing is okay. Working on the last in a series of 3 podcast scripts at the moment. Nice. Potential good news on the novels front as well. And indie publishers interested in my last one. Nice, dude. Congrats. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's one hell of an achievement, dude. Good job, Nuclear Kid. No more 3 AM paint sessions. They are overrated. Have you done the giveaway for that Elderville Chronicles limited edition elf? Nope. Your very own Star Wars Holiday Special. Always. Always. And yeah. Excuse me. At one point I had them all on VHS as well, and before they got the re-release with the new SF special effects and stuff, I had those 2, and that was the version I grew up on. Kind of missed that a little bit. The kitschiness and the standard that had, but yeah, Star Wars was where I was at when I was a kid, very much so. It is missed. Just, yeah, I don't know. It's stuck in time, that one, for me. That's awesome. Wish I had more awesome family memories like that. Yeah, there's very specific ones. I remember getting my AT-AT. I owned a Kenner AT-AT, and that was a spiritual moment in my childhood. Let's say. But yeah, I hope you do have good memories, but you deserve them. If not, that you're giving your own kids those magical moments, because I'm sure you are. Well, the cat told me to take a break. Rude. The cat can say to take a break when the cat takes over and does the work while you're taking said break, because otherwise work ain't going to do itself, you know? Have a word. Don't stand for it, Blissful Badger. The cat's going to complain. The cat needs to sort of step up and get brush in hand. How's this looking? It's coming together okay. I think this is coming together okay. Metallic metal's a bit wonky, but don't need it to be perfect. This is one of those moments where you need to remind yourself what your objective is. The objective here is to get the miniature painted to a standard that looks reasonable on the tabletop. We are not trying to win an award here. We are trying to paint a miniature. I'm trying to paint a miniature that goes on the table and looks fine. I think that's going to look fine. I think that's going to look fine on the table. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be sort of battered and dirty and... excuse me, I got blooming cough. This old age problem is a real issue. It's supposed to be battered and it's been in a tomb for 100 years, and you know, it's supposed to look a bit tatty and a bit grubby. It's not supposed to shine in the morning sun. You know what I mean? Stay on mission. Other on Blu-ray, not touching the last 3 movies. Solo, I have Rogue One. Yeah. The last 3 movies, they have their place, but yeah. Masterclass on how not to do things. I don't hate them. I think they're a bit stupid. But I always find it funny. I mean, I grew up and I loved Star Wars, as I've just made abundantly clear. But like, I saw people reacting to the later, the newest movies, like a family member had died. I'm like, dude, it's mass market entertainment. This isn't just perspective. Just a bit, just a smidge around the edges, just a little bit of perspective. Do you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, I mean, they're not, there's all sorts of problems with them, but I really personally enjoyed The Force Awakens. I thought it was fun. I saw it twice. The second time that I saw it was with my wife in an open-air cinema where it was projected on the side of a really old Gothic cathedral, and it was freaking awesome. Laying on a beanbag with the hottest woman in the world, watching a really cool movie is like X-Wings battle TIE fighters, the stars above you. It was awesome. It was absolutely freaking awesome. And, you know, there's not many films that would have given me that sort of experience because, you know, it's Star Wars, and that's, yeah. So, I don't know. He just wanted his attention. I was between colours and I went, well, fair play. Fair play. Looking fine equals goals. Yeah, it's not everything. You're right, Mel Winters. And not everything has to be an earth-shattering work of art, because then nothing gets done. And I know some people can go off and do that, and I'm in awe of the people that can. I'm not one of them. I have limits to what I can do. But what I can do is pretty nice, as long as I am not an idiot to myself and don't try and do the Sistine Chapel on every single freaking miniature, because that's not going to happen, and I'm just going to end up spending way too much time on a miniature that, like, yeah, I'm not going to... It just isn't... That's not what it's for. It's not a centerpiece miniature. So, you've got to keep yourself sensible. Got to get yourself a little bit sane as well. Just like this guy. I mean, I've got the elements of the legs here, and this armor around his thighs. If I get that looking okay, and actually this banding on his legs as well here. If I get that looking okay, he's fine. You know, you get the base done, and he's absolutely great. He doesn't need to be more than this. I mean, the studio ones have got like glowy in the eyes, and I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm in two minds about that. I've got some rust sort of features coming in the post, so I'm going to stick that on here, but that's going to come later. It's like, yeah, I think if I do this some detail and I get these down looking nice, it doesn't have to be, as I say, it doesn't have to be the Sistine Chapel. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, because this is a bad guy miniature, kind of a secondary miniature, that while I want it to look beautiful, and I do, especially because of the quality of these minis, you know, this is an L4 miniature, this isn't some sort of mass blooming produced blooming thing. But I also need to be mindful of the fact that I have a lot of them to do, and the goal is to get the campaign started. You know, that's what we're looking to do. Get you guys watching my guys throwing dice and journeying through dungeons and such. So, yeah, got to stay focused. I remember thinking, as long as the sequels are better than the prequels, I'll be happy. I don't know if that's even true. Rogue One, however, may be my favourite of them all. Yeah, no, I'd go with that. Rogue One is a good film. It is, in its own right, a good film. I don't think it's the best Star Wars, but then, in my opinion, the best that Star Wars ever got was Andor, because that is a very, very, very good bit of entertainment. And no, it's not a movie. I don't care. It's the best Star Wars, in my opinion. It just, that elevated everything. It kind of took the whole like Star Wars universe and went, oh no, this is 3D and adult things happen here. Proper grown up like unpleasantness and everything that you knew about the good guys. Well, were they that great? Or were they actually people struggling to survive? Well, it turns out there was people struggling to survive, and people struggling to survive sometimes do some pretty awful things. Oh, how interesting. Not what I expected, but there was a joy to that. It added meat to the bones of the universe, and I loved it for it. So, yes. Rogue One is good, though. Very good indeed. Oh, so this is the spookiness. Skellingtons indeed. Truth, I'll be working on one, or get a little bit of paint where I don't intend, and just tell myself it's okay. It's not like it's working on a piece of the painting. Yeah, exactly, Mal Winters. That's it. Keeping perspective on what you're trying to achieve. Because like this at the moment, to me, let's get an angled. He's looking alright. He's supposed to be a sort of summoned skeleton deep in the sort of dark bowels of a mountain. Okay, he's going to come on. We're going to stab him in the face. He's going to disappear. That's what he's for. That's this guy's future. Smush. Well, you know, that's what he's going to do. So like, I don't want to kind of put an excessive amount of time in him, because I have other things I need to put excessive amounts of time in that are not one skelly. Good evening. Also loving the on-screen YouTube Twitch so I can see both. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? I did the thing, Dallinair. I did the thing. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah. Mrs. Hydra is like, do you want me to have a look at it? And I was like, yeah, I want you to have a look at it. I'm getting old and I can't do this stuff anymore. And then I had a word with myself and I was like, actually, yes, I can, and I'm going to do it. So I did it, and it worked. And I was so impressed with myself. Night, Phoenix. Take care, buddy. I want to have my shields like tarnished copper. Yeah, I get that, and I could go further with this. I could definitely go further with these. But like, I want them done to a nice standard. I don't want them done. I'm not going to spend the time on them to make them all that, because otherwise, yeah, it's just... I have a hero to do. Now my hero I want to spend some time on. That's where I want to invest, like, the big time, you know? Because there, it's worth it. That guy's going to be on the board every game, and it's my kind of avatar in the universe, and I just want it to look perfect. Unfortunately, our chap here was born to die again. So I'll keep that in perspective, because if I could bash out 2 of them in a night, that would be brilliant, because I've got his buddy over there. Where are we at? Oh, I'm not going to get 2 of them in a night, but if I can get like 1 and start work on the other one. Where's my cavalry brown? Come here. In fact, I've already got some cavalry brown on the palette, but we're going to put a bit more. Been minking around with all kinds of interesting stuff recently. I put together a spaceship and some Warcrow today. It was kind of funky. It was a nice day. You know, when you get to do some stuff. I was supposed to be cleaning the house, but then my youngest said, I want to do some arts and crafts. And I was like, okay, we'll get you set up. And then she was like, no, I want to do some arts and crafts and you have to stay with me. It's like, well, I love you, darling, but I'm supposed to be over here. No, you're going to stay here. And no, but I've got to do, no, you're going to stay here and I'm going to do arts and crafts and you can do arts and crafts next to me. So I tried to sit next to her and do some housework stuff, like there's some sort of admin-y type stuff that I had to do. And then I got told off. I got told I had to. Papa, you're supposed to be doing arts and crafts. Right. Okay, I'll do that then. So I got browbeaten by my 3-year-old today, which turned into sort of a very nice sort of relatively chilled build session. We got a new capital ship built for my PHR fleet in Drop Fleet, and a whole bunch of Warcrow built ahead of a game that I've got later on this week. So, you know, it was kind of nice. My 3-year-old is sensible. And what I most loved is that she finished doing her arts and crafts, and she went off to do something else on the other side of the room. So I was like, okay, well, we're done. So I'm going to get on and do the... No, Papa, you have to stay there. You've got arts and crafts to do. Stay there and do that. And I was like, no, you finished. No, you have to stay there. I mean, who am I to argue in the face of that wisdom? So I didn't. So I did stay there. I did a bit more. And it was very nice. So it's taken me ages to teach her to say that, but that's not true. She was genuinely adamant that that's the thing I should do. So, and sometimes you got to listen to your kids and do as you're told. So I did. Granted, you use it later to get some ice cream, but there we go. I figured she'd earned it at that point. A little bit of colour interest on the leg there. That works. I want them, 1 done, 2 to a nice standard. Yeah, exactly. But a nice standard does not have to be award-winning. And that's what I have to keep in my head. I always did the plan of get everyone into base it, then go back if you feel the need. Yeah, fair one. 40 average paint jobs is better than 5 perfect and 35 grey. True. Dalina, you are quite right. Words of wisdom, my friend. It's I've got a couple of demos coming up for Drop Fleet. The local community is expanding at a rapid rate of knots, which is nice. So the other day I did a very quick and dirty basic kind of undercoat colour scheme for my PHR. Because I prefer to run those as a demo than I do Biofighters. I think they're a better demo. Army, effectively. So yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to run the PHR for the demo crew, and go from there, kind of thing. But yeah, if you try for perfection with everything, I mean, I've got friends that are really great painters, and they can just bat out perfection like it's going out of fashion. But they also, and I'm thinking of my good friend Mean Green Minis here, he paints every day. Sort of 1 or 2 hours per day, he gets paint on Mini, which is fantastic. I can't do that. It's just not practical for me to try and do that in any way, shape, or form. So, Dojo, hello. May I ask for your hottest hot take when it comes to Warcrow? Also, that's what amazing daughter reminds me of my little bro. Nice. My hottest take. CNN are traitors and should be removed from the game, clearly as a bad influence on everybody else. I think that's a hot take. What's my hot take? 400 points was not necessary. Yeah, no, I think the CNN thing's definitely my hottest take. as a good guy player, also known as a Scion player, it's hardly surprising that's my position, though. Let's be honest. I'd like to see more. I'd also like to see more of the big stuff. I know we're starting to get it now, starting to drop into the world on a regular basis. We've just seen the new We have just seen the new Eagle for Feudum appear, which looks freaking awesome. But actually, I know what my hottest of hot takes is, but it's actually linked into a video I'm doing this week on Warcrow, so you'll have to wait for that one, I'm afraid. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm going to do a video, and you're like, well, this is going to go one of two ways. What could go wrong? Actually, quite a lot, but we shall see. We shall see what happens. I'm hoping Fighting Commander, I think this will be released outside of Kickstarter, Alex Genuine Industry. Yes, it's going to be. As I understand it, all of... So we've got the two, Drop Zone, Drop Fleet, and then we've got Strike Team and Strike Zone commanders, which, as I understand it, is kind of a 30-odd millimeter combat group size. So I think smaller than 40k, but don't quote me on that. So like 30, 40 miniatures maybe. And then you're going to have the Strike Team, which is going to be your skirmish sort of scale. As I understand it, those are all coming outside of, but I don't know. I actually saw in my local FLGS this week another person interested in Eldfall and trying to start a community. Super exciting. Nice. Where's that? That's you. Oh, actually, I know. Rough. No, do I know where you are? Well, I know you shoot. Anyway, let me know what that is. Maybe we can help. How about playing a game with channel members online like Northern Wind? I don't like playing online. I do not. It upsets my chi in so many ways, Darina. I don't like doing online play. I owned TTS for a couple of weeks, and no, I don't like it. I don't enjoy the experience. It feels like a very slow computer game rather than a war game. If I'm going to war game, I'm going to use the miniatures that I've painted, face to face with somebody. There are thoughts about ways that I can do games against members, and that may be something that I do at some point. But for the time being, what I need to do is get more regular games on the channel, and that is what we're working on as well. Part of what the Northern Wind playthrough is to do is to test a whole load of different live shooting type processes that will help with me shooting war games for you guys, so we can have battle reports on the channel. And I think, as I've said before, the plan will then be that there'll be like a 30-minute edit of a battle report which will go out to the masses, and then there'll be a full 90-minute version that will go out to members and Patreons, and stuff like that. That's kind of the direction that I'm leaning on that front, but we'll see how that goes. There's a lot of things need to happen between here and there, so we shall see. But I've got the gear to make it possible now, so that's the biggest first step. Making sure you have the right gear. Gear is all. My mum liked the look of some of the spirits from Northern Wind. They are gorgeous. I'm a huge fan of the Northern Wind aesthetic. There's no point in saying that I'm not. All the Eldfall stuff just makes me happy. And it's really funny because like the stuff I got into Eldfall Chronicles after I'd got into Warcrow. And I hadn't really done a fantasy war game since Warhammer Fantasy Battle around 91, 92, I don't know, very long time ago, was when I was very briefly into Fantasy Battle. And then Warcrow came along and I kind of fell for that quite hard, and there was a lot of love to be had there for the Crow. And then I saw Eldfall and I was just like, all of that. I want all of it. It was a real problem, and I've told the story before, but like I bought the first set, the first 2-player starter set. It turned up, and the same day I ordered the second 2-player starter set, because you get 2 factions in each starter set, and there's 4 main factions in the game. So I was like, do you know what? I want the other one. Give me. And they did, and yeah, it was great. I bought that one. It came in, and it was as good as the first one, so it was love at first sight. And as soon as I started talking to and working with the guys there, Free Company, it was like, yeah, these guys get it. They know what they're about. They know what players want, what matters, what doesn't matter. And It's been an absolute. It's always a joy working with them. I do bits and pieces with them on a semi-regular basis, and it's an absolute joy to kind of see what they've got going on and be loosely, to any extent, involved in the creative process for it. It's just awesome. So yeah, huge amount of love. What was I saying? Stuff. The asymmetrical kick in the door type game looks very cool. It does. It does look very cool. They've got some really interesting stuff going on with the drop verse. They really do. So we shall see what happens with it. I think for the time being, I'm going to stop at Zone and Fleet, just from a sort of time and sanity perspective. There's only a certain amount of time I can play. Same on TTS. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it, Gene Dean? You either get it or you don't, and I don't. We're streaming this game live from the Holland Hydra Dome. Please ignore the sounds from the windmill cells and the glare of all these... Yes, thank you. Dear Lord. I don't live in Holland. Anyway. It's funny how that matters more to people, to expats who live in the... to immigrants who live in the Netherlands than it does to locals. Anyway. But there are a ridiculous number of windmills over here. It is quite funny. It's a stereotype for a reason, and it is legit, and I love it. Still strikes me as strange, though, the frequency with which I see a windmill, and I'm like, ooh. There is, in fact, round the corner from me, a supermarket with a full-size windmill operational. I think it still works in the car park. Not entirely sure what the story is behind that, but there must be an epic story somewhere down the line of how we ended up with, or having to build our supermarket around a windmill. Very funky, though. This guy's coming to... He's looking okay, isn't he? He's looking all right. He's a scary boy. Oh, you're so scary. Oh, you're scared. You're scared of it. Oh, you're scary. Roar. There you go. That's exactly the noise that the skeleton makes. It's with the vocal cords that they no longer have. They can. They're really good at doing the roar. Sorry for anyone that I traumatized with that whole 30 seconds of excitement there. Legit, though. That's what skeletons do. I feel like I want to do a different colour on this armour pad, but I also feel like I don't. I feel like doing it as it is best. You know, just doing it with the other one. I don't know. We're in two minds. So, as another Scion, you, of course, speak the blatant truth when it comes to these traitors. Yes, I didn't try 400 points yet. I may try it at a two-player mode, but I do prefer 250 points. Yeah, same. But yeah, Scions are definitely the way forward. I built 3 sets of Scions miniatures today, and they were all Seocast, and that was just sad. Ugh. Anyway, going bench. I got into Eldfall because of Warcrow's model issues and wondering what this unicorn was all about. Yeah, one thing led to another, and I found Eldfall through a long chain of search terms. Honestly, I feel kind of bad how Warcrow and Seocast became ads for Eldfall and Unicorn. To an extent, yeah, to an extent. I get where you're coming from. I do, gaming bench, I do. I mostly feel bad because, like, I've had long chats with the development team of Warcrow, and they obviously don't get any say what the stuff's made of. They just make the game, and the game is good, and all this kind of stuff. And then, yeah, it doesn't matter how good your game is if the miniatures don't inspire people, if people aren't sort of looking at it and going, wow, must own, it's a problem. So anyway, more on that later in this week. I have views. There's stuff to be discussed. We shall discuss it. It'll be magical. Otherwise I'll just get complained at for not doing any CB content. Honestly, I get bullied by my own members. It's quite terrible. I'm basically a victim here. I'd have given up ages ago, but they keep making me come back and make more stuff. It's terrible. Will no one release me? Will no one think of the creator? Which is, I don't know. There's a whole load of terms that go around having a YouTube channel these days that just give me the ick. They really do. Ugh. There are certain things that I go to accept, but it doesn't mean to say that I like them. I've come to appreciate that we do have a little bit of influence on this channel. There are certain things that I do that do influence the things that other people do. That does, by definition, make me an influencer. I am not happy about it. It's gross, but here we are. But like calling videos content, I just cannot. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like the term. She's all my outpost in Sheffield, lovely place. It's about time Free Company gave us a date for the Sand Kingdoms release. Well, Dallinair, really soon. We're getting soon. Put it that way. Because there's 3 videos that I put out every time there's a reinforcements video, right? There are 3 videos that I put out. There is the unboxing, because that's important. You've got to see the pretty miniatures. There is the review, because it's important to say whether it's good or not. And then there is the faction focus. There is the sort of breakdown of all of the faction. I can tell you that I've started work on the faction focus. Yes, the word influencer makes me want to be 6. Also, it's not nice. Giving bench. I mean, it's still a great system and sea cost is manageable. Most of the models are coming out in unicorn nowadays. Some and some, Dark G. Some and some. And that's the problem. And it's, yeah. Video this week. You're anti-influencer. Shush. Influencing things with your influence. I blame you for walk around Elford. That's what I mean. I know, you know. That's Gene Dean. That's the thing. I know that there are people that have only come to sort of know that certain systems exist because I went, hey, have you seen this system? They went, no. And I'm well aware of that. And that's the thing. And that's the thing that I have to sort of, I don't know. I don't know. So what colour do we think we should do these legs? I want to kind of do them a little bit more interesting than just the coppery bronze, but it sort of needs to be the coppery bronze, doesn't it? Like the shield. Just needs to be that. That's just kind of all it needs to be, really, isn't it? Next up soon. You're not an influencer until you've hired a set that looks like the interior of a private jet so you can pretend your life is interesting. How have you seen the video I'm putting out this week? And my life is very interesting. In the best way. Well, thank you, Gene Dean. I have the very weird experience of getting notifications that things are being sent to me that I don't know what they are. That is one of the most fun and bizarre things that I've had. Is you just, because you know when you get stuff sent to you, you get, well, I get emails from the various companies saying, you've got a delivery on the way. And I'm like, oh God, what did I order? Nothing. Company sent you some stuff. What they sent me? Seriously, what's coming? And then you find out, and it's brilliant. Like, little exciting Christmas. And then you get the tax bill, and it's like, damn it. But anyway, up until that point, amazing. Kind of feel this needs a bit more interest on it. It's a little bit too bland down there. It's a bit better. So yeah, what do we think for this armour? I could do it really colourful. I don't really want to do it really colourful. I don't know. I'm a bit caught. Any thoughts, chat? Everybody, what do we think? Also, don't forget to do the likey button, and if you're on Twitch, because some of you are, do if you've got a Prime membership, do subscribe over there. Become a subscribery person, because that helps massively. And if you can, if you're on YouTube as well, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for blah blah blah. And also, if you can become a channel member, that'd be brilliant, because that helps me immensely. I've got so much stuff coming up; it really helps at the moment. And super chats. I never talk about super chats. Those two, and other stuff. I'm done now. That's it. That's the pitch. That's as far as it's going. Dirty and nasty and dark, like it's been underground for 50 years. I suppose is accurate. That's the thing. The whole thing is all like he's already quite grimy and grubby, and stop following around. I just kind of want to do something a little bit more interesting, but I guess that doesn't make any sense. Right, decision made. We're going in. We're going to make it the same sort of scrappy, coppery type colour as the rest. That's what we're going to do. Let's get this done. Act in haste, repent at leisure, but this isn't really haste. And this is not the Sistine Chapel. We do not have to make this look perfect. This has to look good on the tabletop, and it shall. So there we go. Got to remind yourself of these things. A little bit of dark rubber to prime it over. Not too much, so we don't lose all the black in those recesses. Still just visible as slightly darker. There we go. This one too. Make this kind of coppery kind of colour, I think. Whee. Alright, let's let that dry for a minute. Because I think when that's done, I'm going to stick that rust on this guy later. I think that's kind of, I think it's kind of done then. Let's let that dry for a minute. You sit over there and dry. Good. Reload. This guy. Get some blocking done on him. Yay. So many miniatures. It's lovely. It's the curse and the blessing of these systems, isn't it? These this kind of like what should we call it? Brain in gear. These dungeon crawlers is you get such a large volume of miniatures all in one go, and you're like, right, I'm going to paint all those before I start the actual fun of playing the game. It's a lot. It's a lot to get through. No two ways about it. It's quite intense. It's the disadvantage. It's the same with a lot of Kickstarters and stuff, where you're kind of like, right, so you spend €500 and we're going to deliver you 300 miniatures. Oh God, what am I going to do with all of those? Someone's got to paint them, and it's going to be, yeah, it's not great news. So I do appreciate that the model count is low with this, but still, at the moment, 15 feels like a lot to do. You know what I mean? I know, first world problems, don't tell me, don't at me, I'm well aware. But even so. So the fabric, we actually do like a black-purple blend, because that works best for this. Create some contrast with the sort of dark coppery colour that we're going for the metals. Whoops, that's not supposed to be coppery colour, but it is. Sorry, it's supposed to be coppery colour, but it's not now. It's going to have that on it. It'll be fine. How many skeletons in the box? So we have 2 of the basic ones, and then we have 2 of the hero ones that are like this. These guys are just absolute freaking badass. There's no two ways about that. Samurai skeleton warriors. So we've got 2 of those. This is the other one, the other bowman. Boop. That was a boop. Thank you. So we've got those, and then we have these guys that are like these little spirit dudes as well. So we've got 2 of these. So 6 of the type skeleton raised from the dead type creatures that we need to do for this set. Do love them. They're one of the things when I saw these on the release info for Northern Wind, it was like, oh, it's just nice. Missing the start. What are we painting? Gaunil, we are painting the skeletons for Northern Wind for Eldfall Chronicles. That's the dungeon crawler from Free Company. So we're going to be doing a playthrough of the whole thing, epically, for on Twitch and YouTube over the coming months. So I'm getting everything painted so that when we do the lovely videos for you guys, it's going to be with all these gorgeously painted miniatures. Well, all these gorgeous miniatures that are painted. There we go. Just going to be a little bit more realistic with myself. But I have many to do. I'm just trying to get the core of them out of the way and done to a tabletop standard. So it looks pretty for you guys. You have returned. Oh my goodness me. I just thought people would like to know. Yes, they did like to know, Mr. Rogers. And why haven't I played Infinity Defiance Lab? Because you need to buy the... If you bought Defiance yet, do you own it? Warhammer, I prefer the Warhammer Crest Dark Water method, where you get loads of miniatures and have no intention of ever playing the game. Nuclear Kid, no comment. Although that's something I've heard so much. Like, oh my goodness, I've got all these miniatures. What am I going to do with them? Never play the game. Yeah. That's one way of getting out of having to paint them, I suppose, if you never actually use them. But with that price tag, that's a bold move. I just finished one dungeon crawl box and then just got the darkest dungeon because of reasons. You're a glutton for punishment, Gene Dean. Love you dearly. Oof, and that Kickstarter will eventually show up. Eventually, when you already have plenty of other projects, at exactly the moment when you're like, this has just come in and I can't wait to do it. Oh, that's come in too. Damn it. Ask Hydra about George and Alien versus... Don't. No, I'm not getting involved with any of that. You can stop that, Rogers. Love it. Samurai Skeletons, exactly. It is a beautiful miniature and so detailed. We don't talk about AVP around here. The pain's still fresh. It really is. Still wake up in the night crying. Although I sold all mine and I regret it because I'd done quite a nice paint job on the actual aliens. So to hell with the Colonial Marines. Give me the aliens. That's what I'm here for. Xenomorphs for the win. But yeah, that was not a good experience. Yes, that's what I meant. I went all in with the Platinum Pledge. No! No! You got all of Defiance. Dude! There were so many miniatures in that set. Whoa! Whoa! Like the entirety of Shazvasti in one box. Crazy, dude. I mean, awesome, but also, oof. Did I say oof? I think I didn't mention that. Let's go with oof. I remember when Defiance came out and I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm not doing it. You can't make me. At all. I'm not interested. And there were moments that I regretted it. You know, there were certain miniatures that came in with it which were very, very funky and I wish I owned, but on the most part, I was glad that I didn't have that big box of stuff to do, like you say. So many. Still have my Queen. I've not got around to painting it. I had a painted Queen. I don't know. Where are they? I don't know if I still can do. Just yeah, give me a second, guys. I'm off down memory lane. Bear with me. That button. And I think... No, not that button. Not that one. I lied. That one? Yep. I think that one. That one? Yep. Ah. I mean, it's not... Then it... Yeah, the pictures are pretty bad. They don't do them justice. Right. We're going to do this because we're here. Where's that one? That's the one. And then not that one. Not that one. Where's it gone? Oh, it's not done the thing. Boop. Ooh, is that a thing I can do? It is. I think this one. Yay! The camera does not help. But we painted them all with the kind of the brown aliens variant of the... Oh, that looks terrible. God, this camera is not good. Pred Alien. There you go, Praetorian. The little runners. I did the Queen as well. I loved them so much. They made me wildly happy. This was a very long time ago. My goodness, what's that? That's Gates of Antares in the background. My good God, that shows you how bad this is, or how long ago this was. Wow, that was a very long time ago. Thank you for joining me on that little trip. Anyway, back to sanity. Back in the day. Where's that one? And then that one. Excuse me. Wasn't there a female predator in there? Was... Well, no, she was a little bit... There was a female predator and she was a bit different than just having boobs on there. Thank you. You still have your copy. What, your copy of AVP? My goodness me. But was Defiance a good game? It wasn't bad. If you check out Zombie Sashimi's channel, he has a playthrough of some of it. And it was fine. It was a good enough game. I don't think it was groundbreaking. You know, it was more... If I was being uncharitable, I would say it was kind of Infinity the War Game board game fanfic is how it felt to me. So it's fine, but like it wasn't. Having seen it played, there was never a moment where I was like, "Damn it! I wish I'd bought that." Other than for some of the miniatures, I never had that kind of FOMO feeling with it. It was always like, "That's a lot of work," and the game's it's fine, which is not really what you want. But then, that's to my taste. Before anyone takes that as gospel, it's not. It's just how I feel about things, and I'm not. There's only very specific board games and stuff that I like. I'm the sort of the antithesis with board games that I am with war games. With war games, I meet very few that I don't like, whereas with board games, I meet very few that I do like. So it's a bit of a difference. Definitely a bit of a difference. Excuse me. But you need 3 to confuse your opponent as well. Stop it. Shinobu is legendary. Goa, you still have Goa, dude. It's now dead. It's a real shame. Thank you. I'm glad you like the aliens. Solid rules. What for Goa, you mean? Alien Predators, the deadliest of the species, was peak Dark Horse Comics. Agreed. And yes, AVP board game. You still have AVP board game? Dear Lord. I have a fully backed Mantic Ghost in the Shell RPG. Blimey. Euroblob, thank you for subscribing over on Twitch. I appreciate you, brother. Buddy, even. You're going to go and find out. Please don't. I'm not ready for it. Oh, don't put it. Oh, dear Lord. Predator boobs on a Monday evening. That's it. We've peaked. We are done for the day, peeps. That is as good or as bad as it gets. That is as it gets. That is just as it gets for the day. Good, bad, who knows? Just as it gets. Let's get this guy blocked in a bit. I'm kind of having fun painting these. I'm not doing like, I'm not planning to win any awards with them, but they're coming together nicely enough, I think. The 2 of them. They'll look good enough on the board, I think. There used to be a verdigris colour and that went with Rise of Rust from Citadel, and I love that combo. And there was Typhus Corrosion as well, and those together were just an absolute awesome combination of technical paints. I love those so much. I think they've stopped doing them now, which kind of sucks. GW ruins everything. But I made it. The streak is saved. Well done, Evie. I did get the mixed chat working. It could certainly always be worse. Well, that's true, unfortunately. Oh, you were tempted. You're tempted by everything. You're as bad as me, Mr. Rogers. Shiny. Do I vaguely like, or am I vaguely aware of the IP around it? Yes, I'm tempted. I'm interested. Still don't play RPGs. One of those things. Another one of those things on the list which I think I'd like, but I don't. Just not me. Too much of a control freak. Those Citadel technical paints exist still. Yeah, but then let's give money to GW, and I have a moral issue about that these days. Certain things I don't like doing, and that's one of them. No, it's not a religious issue, it's, worse, it's moral. So, yeah, we won't be doing that, I don't think. Unless I get too desperate. Although, one of the things I've got coming tomorrow is a new rust paint, so we'll see how that sort of, I think it's coming tomorrow, how that spins out. I'm hoping it's going to do a good job, but we shall see. I get the impression I'm going to end up doing a lot more stuff with painting these days. I haven't been doing that since I started, but I've recently, in the past literally few weeks, started doing more and more painting. I think it's because I paint on camera now with you guys that I've got over some kind of sort of fiery phobia of doing it. It's like, well, no one's really said you're doing a terrible job, so therefore we're fine. You're just going to do more of it, apart from the framing on the camera, of course, which is terrible, and the zoom is just, well, the focus is awful. But I remember that was the concern when I sort of moved across to painting on live streaming, was that somebody was like, oh my God, that's awful, and you just have that fear. And these days I don't really have that fear anymore, because I don't, that's the way of putting it, I don't care what haters think, which is not to say that I don't listen to criticism. I do. I get critiqued on a semi-regular basis, not just on painting, but on other things. And I'm kind of fine with that, but painting is not my personality, and it's not me, so therefore it doesn't matter. And the other day, when I did the paint job on the shorts for the UCM Scimitar, a friend of mine sort of turned around and went, oh, it's good, but I wouldn't have gone for copper for the metal. I was like, I don't care, I like it. Thanks, good to know, but I'm happy with how it is. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's what I was looking to achieve, so I did the thing I set out for. I wasn't offended, it's just, that's not, if I'd have done a different colour for that, that wouldn't have been the effect I was going for. So, you know. This is why I'm a Discordian. The goddess throws shiny apples that annoy people. That's about right. That's because your sect of Pastafarianism is heresy. Oh, behave yourself. People at my local store are currently losing their minds over something called Blackout, which looks cool. Not seen it before, but it gives me Infinity vibes. Yeah, very much so. I can get that. But Blackout does look cool. I think it's like a modern, slightly futuristic game, and it does look cool. I have looked at it a few times and kind of gone, yeah, but nothing about it makes me go, yes, must own. It's always kind of a, yeah, it's fine. More like, wow, he paints, I should do that more often, feeling lazy. Well, I'm glad to inspire people getting involved. I've seen much worse tutorial videos. Thank you. I can't tell if it's in focus if I'm paying attention to my own minis when I'm painting. Good. Bless you, Wazir. That's good to... Thank you so much. Evie, yeah, your painting is pretty bright, very much unlike your personality. And the company that I keep. You know, Evie, who's the bigger fool? The fool or the fool who follows him? So there we are. There's that thought for the evening. Anyway, playing Blackout makes me want to play Infinity. That's bad. That's not a good place to be. Blackout just looks weird to me. The resin plastic thing puts me off, and it looks like edgier Infinity. Yeesh. Blackout is expensive, and you thought you would be expensive because American, and yes, Infinity looks better. But I bet Blackout doesn't have as many roofs, does it? I bet they don't have as many roofs as Infinity does, because Infinity gives good roof. You know, when we say they're miniatures of peak, we're just referring to the part of the roof that they're stood on. Yeah. The predisposition of Corvus Belli to stick miniatures on roofs these days is definitely pandemic. It's got to the point where I'm like, this is a fetish, lads. I sometimes feel that, like, because they had like bits of machinery for a while that they would, like, you'd have a foot on a glowy type box thing. That was the thing for a while, and I think the latest thing is dude on roof, which, you know, it's different, but also it's very specific. Dude stood on boxy thing can be anywhere, whereas dude stood on Asian roof, you know, he's going to one place, wherever that Asian roof is, you know. So yeah, I'm not a fan, but then I've said that a little bit. And you sometimes feel like you repeat yourself, and I have to remind myself that not everybody watches all my stuff. Which I don't blame you. You've probably got better things to be doing with your time. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the roofs. It's not so good. Blackout is great for quick games where, like Infinity, position matters and combat is lethal. Fair enough. It's a heartbreaker of Infinity. Tactical roofs, you mean? Like tactical rocks for Space Marine characters? Yes, JJ. Literally stood on roofs. Literally stood on chunks of roof with tiles and everything. It is a freaking look. The latest ninjas have got it. Ewan Man, the new wolf dude. I was totally into that miniature in so many ways, and then they just stuck him on a roof, and I'm like, I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm done. At that point, I'm just not into that at all. Give me your kinky cat girls, but when you start sticking miniatures on roofs, well, I draw a line. How it is, I just, yeah. But it's a bit much from my perspective. You should have more models of people standing on people instead. Yeah, I agree with that. Standing on vanquished foes tells the story. Standing on roof is like, okay. I feel like it's one sculptor that got good at doing roofs and decided that was his personally. Yes, I think you're probably right. But having a style and making it a personality is a very different thing, Cosmic. Infinity will expand to European roofs one day. Oh, wow, I can barely contain myself. Hurrie's on an asphalt flat roof. Yeah, that new Mini would be amazing. 3x painted project. True. I feel the same. Eltrol and Drop Fleet make me go out and buy the same day, but that doesn't do it for me. Yeah, exactly. For the people that brought you Dude on Roof, we bring you Dude in Chippy waiting for a god. I'd buy that miniature. I would buy the heck out of that miniature. Although that feels more like a... Oh, what's his name? Oh, I watched one of his videos the other day. The artist, the Irish artist that does really weird stuff. Lost it. He did a new thing the other day and it was brilliant. Anyway. But yeah, I'd buy standing in queue. As my first day as a roofer, I almost got fired for taking... No. I'm not repeating that. JJ, it's in... People can read it. And they can judge you for themselves. This is why you can't have nice things, people. This is why you can't have nice things. But yeah. Let's just put that through there. How much effort do you think it's going to be to extract the weeb dog from the roof? I don't know. It depends because, like, hang on. If we get Titania down, because I love Titania, I love this miniature, but she is unextractable from her statue. You can't take her from this. And one of the main reasons for that, which foot is that? A couple of, that one there is a peg. I think this one here is connected here at the ankle. So this foot is part of it. This foot is part of this. You just can't take this off. So it depends whether the feet are part of the roof or whether it like has pegs to attach it to the roof. Bobby fingers, thank you, JJ. Bobby fingers. That feels like standing in the queue for a COD feels like something that Bobby Fingers would make. And if you haven't seen Bobby Fingers, he's an Irish artist that does very surreal artwork. You have to have a very specific sense of humour and about an hour of your life free. But if you have a moment where you're like, I feel like spending half an hour or so in the company of somebody who leaves me feeling somewhat puzzled and slightly alarmed, you should hunt out Bobby Fingers. The man has incredible skill. There's no two ways about it. But that's as far as I go with Bobby Fingers because I love him, but I couldn't tell you why. That joke is how you know some of your audience is old. True that. That's one of my pet peeves when you can't detach models from tactical items. Agreed. I was out, bizarrely, I wasn't sure about Next Wave at all, and I was out as soon as the Juggernaut's feet were attached to that tactical cliff. I was done. I was just like, no. I want to put these in a specific environment. I want to put them in a specific way, and I can't. I don't. I'm not into it. I'm not into it at all. I'm done. It was really bizarre. I've never had such a strong reaction to something, but that in that moment, just nope. Not interested. Not having this. Strange what makes you do it, isn't it? They should stand on household furniture instead. Yes. Where are the ninjas standing on sofas and beds? This is true. If to be fair, if they started doing a whole range of Yu-Ching miniatures, all balanced carefully on IKEA products, I would watch the hell out. I'd buy the hell out of it. Mel Gibson, Steven Seagal, Bezos' head. Yes, true. Were you on about Spectre miniatures? I've seen Spectre miniatures as well because they do the modern era stuff, don't they? They were quite cool. I was hoping I could with the Avatar, but it was definitely not going to happen. Ugh, it's just disappointing. Just disappointing. There's no need for it. It yeah. I don't. The thing I have. So here's the thing. Let's just get to the nubbins and the cruxes of it. The thing is with me is part of what I enjoy about this hobby is being able to tell a story, being able to tell my story with my miniatures the way that I want to. And the moment you put them on a massive tactical rock in a specific sort of setting and you make it so that I can't take them off of that, I can't tell the story I want to. I can only modify the story that you've told. And that is part of what draws me into the hobby, having a story to tell. You know, my Soga for Eldfall Chronicles, actually partly inspired by Northern Wind, are not red like they normally are. They're blue. They're designed to be very cold and look very wintry in the snow and on snow bases and stuff like that. Snow Joke, in fact, aiming to create that kind of very storied, living in the mountains, far away from civilization, an isolated outpost, the very fringes of Soga. There's a whole story that goes around them, and that comes from the way that I've painted the miniatures, the way that I base the miniatures, the way that they, the way that they look, the job that I do. And periodically Corvus Belly goes, no, you see, because the story around this particular miniature is this. But that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. I want to tell my own story. So I find it incredibly disconnecting when I'm limited on that. And I would say actually Titania's the exception to that, because I love the drama of that particular pose, of that particular miniature. And I think she looks brilliant. And I think, I can work with that statue and make it something good. But I would have preferred that she would have been in a position where I could have worked with her more easily. But yeah, that's the one time that it's not switched me off. I did have a bit of a when I saw it the first time. I was like, but I wanted to do something else. But I think also it helps that I hadn't decided entirely what I was going to do with my Scions. So when I saw her, I didn't have a preconceived idea of the bases they were going to go on and the story they were going to tell. So we shall see how it works out when I finally decide in the coming weeks what their scheme's going to be. There's a cat bin face miniature out there. Yes, there is. I have seen it. It is beautiful. 100% agree. Basing is a big part of the theme story. It is. I don't need to repeat this anymore. There's a whole thing, but then there's people. Oh, thank you. Thank you for gifting a membership on Twitch, JJ. That's very kind. Though I suppose there are worse things than tactical dead tag, but that is just so true. The mix or tactical rocks and tech bits my VC come with have a constant fight to have a cohesive basis. Yeah, it's true. It's true. They sacrifice our ability to tell a story in the way that we want to. Their designs, and it's a shame. I wish they didn't. Stop it, basically. Let me tell the story that I want to, the way that I want to. But hey ho. I mean, there are worse problems to have. At least the miniatures are beautiful, and you want to tell stories with them. But yeah, we shall see what the future holds. Oh, nuts! That was just a little bit of run on there, which I didn't need you to do. There we go. Recovered. We shall see. Big love. Got about. Love you too, my friend. I will pass that on. Mrs. Hydra will be happy. She will indeed. And we need to catch up soon, buddy. We've got to figure date and times in and stuff, so we shall talk. Your people speak to my people, and we shall, book it in. We've been saying for too long, but we will. Definitely. Right. Shazra? What am I missing? Time is it? My goodness, it's past time. I'm supposed to be done already. You can tell I've been getting stuck in. Right, what was I waiting to finish on here? Paint something on here and I was waiting to... Oh yeah, I was going to do this armor, wasn't I? I was going to do this armor a bit quick. Kind of wanted to make it look a little bit brighter than it is at the moment. Oh no, I didn't. I wanted to... Yes, I do. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. Is that to... You're really wet. No, you're not. This looks scrappy. Right. Doing this terribly, just absolutely terribly. I'm focusing more on what I'm doing than I am on. This is when you know you're still an amateur at this job. So you're like, right, do. Hang on, there's a camera somewhere around here. The people want to see it. So remember to show you what I'm actually doing. There we go. Whee. Tidy that off a little bit. Yeah, dead air. Not a good look, I know, but I'm concentrating. This is it. Can't talk and focus at the same time. It's old age is a problem, isn't it? Sorry about that, folks. Just wanted to do a quick, make this roughly look metallic. I don't want to do heavily metallic, so otherwise I'm going to be here all day. Just make it look a little bit interesting and stuff. Looks interesting and stuff, I think. 100% will do. Night all. Take care. It's fun when you get stuck into the project and just keep on going. Yeah, no, absolutely. Badger and I stream on Twitch. I've been painting my VCA there. Ah, I did not know that. I shall absolutely have to follow you. I shall absolutely have to follow you there, Cosmic. Oh, do I follow you? I don't think I follow you that way. Anyway. Yes. Just need a little bit more, I think. A little bit more of an edge on this. So it stands out. give it a little bit more impact, so it looks a little bit more defined. I'm going to call, aside from his base, I think I'm going to call him done. It kind of works. Kind of looks good. This one's on his way too. He's looking alright as well. Shaping up nicely. Kind of want to put those very quickly, these into red, because I see that's where this is going to go, but I think if I leave this a couple of days, I'll forget. Wrong brush. I want to put these as red leather around the back. Getting everything together. So that seems to make sense to me. Like that, like that. Finish these around here. Right, chaps and chapettes, chappies and chappies, thank you all so much for hanging out. It's been fun. It's been an absolute joy as ever to see you. As I say, we're going to talk a little bit about Warcry, specifically Seercast. There's going to be a chat that we have this week on the channel, so look forward to that. It'll drop later in this week. Aside from that, there's a couple of hoping to get a video that's majorly late for Bolt Action Out, which I don't talk about enough. Huge amount of love for that. Some more stuff coming for Drop Zone, which I'll try and do this week, but we'll see. It'll depend on a couple of variables as to whether that happens this week. But in gear, lovely to see you. Thanks for hanging out. Dallinair, always a pleasure. We need to catch up. Cosmic, somewhere on social media, find me and ping me who you are on Twitch, and I shall give you a follow there as well, buddy. Especially if you're playing Infinity. Always in need of more inspo, so would love to see that. But thank you all so much for hanging out. It's been good. You have a great rest of the week. Be awesome to yourself and to each other. Make sure you spend time on your hobby. Make sure you spend time on yourself. Sleep, hydrate, do all the good things. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon. Take care, guys. Thanks. Bye.